Hello and welcome. So in last video we learned about the function. What is function? How can we how can we program into function? How can we call function? How can we pass arguments or parameter in function? Before moving to the next topic, which is scope, let's discuss what are the advantages of functions. So first advantage is creating a new function gives you an opportunity to name a group of statements, which makes your program easier to read and debug. It's very basic functionality of function, which means we if we write the function, then we can name the function, we can use it as many times as we want. And the second thing, which is it is easier to read. Instead of reading the whole code, we can read a portion of the code easily and we can debug it. Debugging means to find the error and fixing the error is debugging. Second one is function can make a program smaller by eliminating repetitive code. As I gave an example that example of sum, that instead of writing the code of summation, we can write a function which we can use repeatedly in our program. Dividing a long program into function allows you to debug the part one at a time and assemble them into a working. It means if we have a big problem, then we can divide it into a smaller one. This strategy is called divide and conquer. We can solve the smaller problem which we divided individually and we can assemble them in the last. And last but not the least is reusability. The very basic and very important functionality of function is reusability. It means we can reuse the function as many times as we want. Okay, let's move to the topic of the day, which is scope. The question comes in mind, what is scope? So a scope of a variable is availability inside the region it is created. What does it mean? It means like if we create any variable, then there are some restriction and some limitation of that variable. It depends that in which region it is created. I will give some example to understand how scope, what is scope and what is the availability, what is all in few seconds. So let's understand the types of scope. There are two types of scope. First one is local scope. So what is local scope? A variable created inside a function belongs to the local scope. Suppose this is a function hey and we declared a variable x. The value of x is 20. And when we call the function hey, it will print x. So here x will be considered as a local variable since it is created inside a function. Let me give you an example. Def, let me write the program. Def hey, okay, x equal to 20, print x. All right, so when I call the function hey, it's giving us 20, but when I try to call x, the value of x, it's telling us that x is not defined. Why? Because the scope of x is inside the function hey. We cannot access x from outside. This is called local scope. So local variable cannot be used outside the function but available inside function, as I shown you just in previous example. Second type of scope is global scope. What is global scope? A variable created in the main body of the Python code is a global scope, is a global variable that belongs to the global scope. For example, and global variables are available from within any scope. It means we can access the global variable from anywhere. Like we cannot access local variable, but we can access global variable. Suppose x is equal to 20. We declared a variable, and now we are defining a function hey, and we are printing x. We are calling x. When we call hey function, it will give us 20. It will print 20 since x is a global variable and we can access it inside the function. This is an example. Let me declare x equal to 20. Now I am going to declare a function hey. Okay, now I will call print x. Okay, so when I going to call hey function, it's giving us 20. So we can access x because x is a global variable. Okay, let me show you another example which contains global and local variable both in a single program. Say global. This is a variable global which have value 20. Now I declare a function okay, here variable local equal to 30. All right, now I'm going to print globe. This is global variable. Loc. This is local variable. Now I'm calling the function new. So 20 is a global variable and 30 is a local variable. So this is the output of function. Now I am going to access both variable global and local. So when I try to access global, it's giving us output 20. Since it is a global variable, we can access this from anywhere. But when I try to access local, which is inside function new, it's throwing error. The error is name local is not defined. I think you have understood what is the difference between global and local. Okay, so here are some tasks for you. Task 1 is this. Comment the output of task 1 in comment box. This is task 2 and this is task 3. So without running this program in interpreter, try to execute using your own intuition and answer the output in comment box. Thank you so much. See you in next video. Bye bye. Take care.